The first news I want to talk about is this Santander 2% mortgage. So obviously, when you want to buy a house, you can either buy a house with cash outright, so the house costs 500k, and you pay 500k to get the house with cash outright, which almost no one does in the UK except you're filthy rich. Or you can pay for the house with some cash, a deposit, and a mortgage. Those are the two ways you can buy a house. Outright cash, house costs 500k, you pay cash 500k, you get the house, or you finance the house purchase with a mortgage. So typically, typically for most UK lenders, you need a mortgage of 10%. That's always the rule. So if the house costs 500 grand, your mortgage or your deposit should be 50 grand, and then you borrow 450 grand and you pay interest on that 450 grand over the course of the mortgage. So the mortgage could be 20 years, 30 years, 35 years, whatever, but you're going to pay off that mortgage on top of interest over the course of the mortgage. Okay, now Santander have come out with a mortgage that is just requiring a 2% deposit. 2%, which means the loan to value ratio will be 98%. You are going to borrow 98% of the house price, which I think is crazy. Obviously, from Santander's point of view, again, never financial advice, but from Santander's point of view, they're gonna more or less spin it as this is to enable people to get on the housing market quicker. So obviously, because you need less or a small deposit, then you can actually buy a house quicker. Now, let's actually think about this, right? In fact, you know what? Let's actually just click on an article by the Sun. Hopefully, the article is not tapped. Um, so the kind of criteria for the house is the house has to be a new build. The house has to also be maximum. I think the house price has to be maximum 500k. So technically, you can get a 500k house by putting down just 10 grand, which again I think is kind of absurd because yes, you might be able to afford the house, but what you need to consider is on that house, you're going to pay, your monthly payments are going to be extremely high, and also you're going to pay a lot of interest because obviously your loan to value is 98% and most of the value of the house is in the mortgage. So again, not financial advice. I'm not saying this product is good or is bad. I'm just giving you the facts to say it's going to have to work for your own personal situation. Because if you're trying to save money by not putting down a big deposit, but then your monthly payments are so high that you have no cash left over at the end of the month, then is it really worth it? Or are you just trying to live in a house and say you own a house, but then you can't afford to actually furnish the house or do anything else? With the house buying process, there's a lot of cost involved. Obviously, I bought a house, when was it? May, June last year. You have to pay stamp duty, which is a percentage of the house price. You need to pay moving costs, furniture costs, bills, council. The list doesn't stop. So I would almost say I don't know who this product is for because if you're really trying to put that less of a deposit, I would argue that you're better off just waiting until you actually put more down and get the house. Now, again, no financial advice. If the product works for you, then I don't see a reason not to do it. For people watching, like the video, let's go. Also, let's get the chat active. Where you guys watching from? What are your names? And yeah, let's interact in the chat because again, I hate talking about finance after working in finance literally the whole day, and I'm gonna do some more work in Excel right after. But I just found this on the news and I thought it would actually be good a good topic to bring up, and I'm actually going to find more information about it. So yeah, from what I can see, this article is quite good. So it actually shows us a bit more information. So as we can see, let me zoom in a bit more. First time buyer only. So the lowest deposit you can put on is 10 grand, and the maximum loan is 500 grand. So uh, it's quite interesting. And the maximum term of the loan can be 40 years. Again, if you're just joining, we are talking about this new Santander product where is no, I'm not looking for a mortgage, mate. Where you can put down 2% deposit and get a house worth up to 500k. And again, funny enough, no flats or new builds in Northern Ireland, but again, if you do this, right, you go and put 2% down and get a flat in London, the service charge alone will make you rethink your decision. So don't rush to be a homeowner. It's not magic. Like once you become a homeowner, nothing magical happens. Like I promise you, you don't suddenly become like some top G or top dog. Like nothing happens, right? I would always say I could probably make the argument that owning a house or buying a house with a mortgage versus renting, I could probably make the argument and say financially, it actually is probably better, all things being equal, to rent than to buy a house. I could make the argument financially, probably. But again, not all financial decisions have to be to maximize your finances, right? As long as you're aware that you've been making a finance decision that is not really the most optimal one, but you're fine with that, I think it's not an issue. But yeah, guys, not much else to talk about with this one. I just saw that, thought it'd be interesting.